Hello, class. In this particular video lecture, was to discuss now how to complete the topic form. So you'll complete a topic for informative speech, for your demonstration speech, and for your persuasive speech. So with the topic form is actually developing your central idea statement, presenting it to me, letting me review your three main points, which is part of your central idea statement, seeing how you're going to do your attention getter, how you're going to open your speech, how are you going to motivate the audience? What are the references that you're using so far based upon your research for the speech? So then I can now know that you are on the right track with moving to the next phase of actually writing and developing your full speech. So in the previous video, we talked about how to select a topic, how to determine the general purpose, how to narrow that specific purpose, and then how to develop a central idea that reflects the main points to be developed in your speech. So that central idea statement is what you will need in order to complete the topic form for your speech. So let's just look at the example again of the topic of the speech is the Dominican Republic. A purpose is to inform. Specific purpose statement is to inform and educate my audience about the country called the Dominican Republic, and that centralized idea statement. So this would be the statement that I will take and put into my topic form. Is the Dominican Republic is a beautiful Caribbean country with a fascinating history, lush tropical paradise, and a diverse culture. So, fascinating history, the lush tropical paradise, and the diverse culture are the three main points of my speech. So, with the topic form, this is an actual form. I can provide hard copies to you, but you'll also complete this in Canvas online and submit it. The topic form. So, the first item in the topic form is basically what is your thesis, purpose, central idea statement. So, it's basically going through this process here and coming up with the central idea statement. So this central idea statement, this part here, is exactly what you will put here under the first area. And then you'll list your three main points. And those three main points are part of the central idea statement, but you'll list again right here clearly what your three main points are, which are from your central idea statement. So those three main points you would list: fascinating history, lush tropical paradise, and the diverse culture. So those will be the three main points of your speech. And then the next part is how will you gain the attention of the audience. This is part of what you will have in the opening of your speech. And in the next video, I'll talk about how to organize your speech. There are required elements that you must have in the opening of your speech, in the body of your speech, and in the closing of your speech for this course. So in this course, there are three different ways that I ask that you choose to get the audience's attention. Those three main ways, you can choose one of them. One, provide a startling statement or fact about your speech. The second one is asking a rhetorical question. And a rhetorical question is simply is that you're not really wanting the audience to answer that particular question. You are phrasing a particular question to the audience, but you're not asking them to answer it. You just want them, it's kind of a thought provoking way. And then another way you can get the attention of the audience and open your speech is a personal story that's connected to your speech. So this is where I'm asking you to say which way you plan on and what specifically are you going to do? Are you going to a startling statement? So for instance, about the Dominican Republic, a startling statement or fact could be that you start off your speech with, did you know that 20% of the people of the Dominican Republic can trace their history back to the continent of Africa? That is a startling statement or fact that you could provide. And that's the first thing you will say when you get up. In this particular course, when you get up to give your speech, the first thing you will do is the attention getter. You will not provide your name. You'll get the audience's attention. That's basically the name of it, the attention getter. And again, you will either do a startling statement or fact, a rhetorical question or a combination thereof, or a personal story reflected to it. So an example of a personal story could be, my mother or my grandfather is from the Dominican Republic. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Dominican Republic. That could be the attention getter. So that's the listening you would have in there. And then the next part, how are you qualified to speak on the topic? So part of this could be I've done research about the country. I visited the country for the informative speech. I visited the Dominican Republic. My grandfather's from the Dominican Republic. I have friends and family from the Dominican Republic. Any of those elements could be something that could qualify you to speak on the topic. The reason why we're listing this is because part of when you give a speech, part of when you get up and present in front of somebody, you have to show that you have some credibility in being able to speak on this topic. So why should they listen to you? And this is an important element that people miss when they give a speech or in the opening of their speech, to explain why they are qualified to speak on this topic. Why should the audience sit and listen to you? This is what I want you to be able to list here. In many of your cases, many of your the simple answer is, I've done research on it, or I'm doing research on the Dominican on your particular topic. In this case, for the Dominican Republic, the country, or it could be I'm from this country, or my mother is from this country, or I visited this country on a vacation and I'm interested in it. The next part is, how will you tell the audience your topic is important or relevant to them? This is another major important element that must take place in the opening section of your speech. Why should the audience listen to you for the next 4 to 5 minutes? How will you motivate them to stay attention and listen to you? Part of what you want to be able to say, what is it? Why is it important to the audience? This is also going back to you, making you think about your audience, their frame of reference, their worldview, their experiences and background, so you can develop and explain why they should listen. So in this particular speech, maybe on the country topic and the Dominican Republic, most of you already kind of have the why. The why, I want you to understand the connection that the country, the Dominican Republic, has to the African slave trade, North Atlantic trade, slave trade, and how that has helped develop the history and culture and people of the Caribbean country, the country of the Dominican Republic. That's a why. That's a motivate to listen. That we're all connected, and this is how we're connected. And then finally, with your topic form, you'll list your 3 references or sources that you're getting information from. At least 3. You obviously can have much more than 3, but at least 3. Those references cannot be Wikipedia, cannot be the dictionary, cannot be encyclopedia. Those cannot be your references or sources. Although you can use Wikipedia to get to credible references and sources. Oftentimes, Wikipedia will lead you and give you good information, and then at the bottom of that Wikipedia page, they'll have listing of credible references. Those are some of the references you could use. For your country topic, you could use the CIA country report. That's a good one. There's several different websites, credible websites that have good information about different countries. You could, of course, use the traditional ones of a book, a magazine article, a newspaper, a research journal. Those are the 3 references. Those are references that you could list here. So those will be the references you will list. Because for each of your speeches, you must go out and do some research on the speeches. And this is showing me, indicating that you've gone out to get information and where you got that information from. So completing your topic form, you start off with the central idea statement. The previous video, the other video, discusses how to get to completing and writing a central idea statement. And that central idea statement is basically your elevator pitch, your elevator speech, that 30-second. If someone asks you what your speech is about, what are you going to give a speech on, the central idea thesis statement is that one single sentence, it's only one sentence that encapsulates the main points of your speech. For your informative speech, you will have 3 main points. So your central idea statement will include those 3 main points again. For example, the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is a beautiful country with a fascinating history, lush tropical paradise, and a diverse culture. That is your central idea statement for your speech. For this particular speech, you'll list those 3 main points. You'll say how are you going to get the audience attention, and you're going to be specific. Are you going to provide a startling statement or fact, and what is that startling statement or fact? Are you going to do a rhetorical question and pose a rhetorical question to the audience? And what is that rhetorical question? For example, did you know that the Dominican Republic, 20%, more than 20% of the population of the Dominican Republic can trace their roots, their history directly back to Africa? That could be a rhetorical question you can use as your attention getter, or a personal story, and you explain what that personal story is about here. How you qualify to speak on the topic? You've researched it, you've lived there, you have family members from there, you visited there. That could be your qualification. Why is it important? What's the purpose? Motivating the audience to listen. Why should they listen to the speech? Why is it important for them to hear about this topic? And the 3 references that you use. That's it. That's all you have to do in completing the topic form. Again, you're going to complete a topic form for your informative speech. Later in the course, you'll complete a topic form for your demonstration speech. and then you'll complete a topic form for your persuasive speech. Thank you.